morning YouTube, welcome to my channel. I am James McPhee, posting about lifting and gaming once I get my PC set up. Anyway, for this video I thought I'd start by sharing what's currently happening in my own training. So having recently finished a 12-week fat loss phase a little earlier than planned, I'll put the results here. I wanted to explain why. The purpose of the fat loss phase was because of a hip injury which I'm currently still dealing with, and then since I can't train properly I thought, why not, it's the best time to do it. Also, I'm going to Vegas in 3 weeks, so that was a bit more of an incentive. I want to look good at all those parties. The reason for ending it, or maybe just taking a break, I haven't decided yet, is so I don't screw myself over in Vegas. Because dieting all the way up to when I go isn't the best approach. I don't want to go there and screw myself over. I want to enjoy myself and not have the thought of calories in the back of my mind. Secondly, I could feel myself getting into a worse mindset in regards to food and the scale. Having had quite a bad eating disorder in the past where I was borderline both anorexic and bulimic, and also had terrible body image. I'll put a photo here, and again in this photo I was about 60 kilos and still thought I was fat. Anyway, recently when preparing food, I'd sometimes think to myself, that's got, high in salt or high in carbs, that'll affect my weigh-in tomorrow, so I started to obsess over the scale. And I'm someone who likes enjoying seeing trends, whether it's waiting the bar going up or waiting the scale going down. It's very easy for me to obsess over these things, and I feel I have a very all or nothing mentality. Just once I'm doing something, I've got to do it right. So I could have probably carried on and easily kept going, ignore those thoughts, but I probably got into a worse state of mind when I decided to end things. But it's been interesting for me to see how this fat loss phase has affected me mentally. All those thoughts and thought processes have still been keeping their way back in, which thankfully I've been able to shake off. Because I may return to the fat loss phase once I'm back from Vegas, but I haven't decided yet, because I'm also thinking about maybe doing some sort of physique or bodybuilding show next year. Again, I like having goals to train towards. I haven't competed in CrossFit weightlifting and also powerlifting. I always feel my training's got to have a bit more of a purpose. So for this week's training, I'm going to start again on Layne Norton's PH3, which I've ran twice before and got great results, but this time just focusing on bench and deadlift, aiming to compete at the end of January next year. And hopefully by then I'll be able to squat, so fingers crossed. So just at the gym for day one of PH3, sipping on that Ghost pre-workout. But what I found, I don't know if anyone else who's used Ghost as well, but once you finish it and fill it with water, it gives off a really stinky egg smell. Unless that's just me and my shakers, who knows. But yeah, gonna finish off, hit session one, which is bench and deadlift. And I'll put those clips up next. So this is what not to do when starting a new program, and something I never learn. This was supposed to be the second set of 10, but having barely got the first set, I should have stopped there, but didn't, and had to perform the role of shame. I think I should say I get to rep 9, and I pause a little bit and think to myself, I shouldn't go for this 10th rep, but I do anyway. As you can see, I get stuck, fail, I have to perform the role of shame, and I actually think I've got bruises on my left side and on my stomach, which is quite painful. Anyway, moving on from that, I dropped the weight down and did an extra set just to get a bit of actual proper volume in and to make myself feel a little bit better for missing that set. Then on to some deadlifts, and I made the switch back to conventional because of my injury, and since losing weight, I finally found I'm able to use my SBD belt without it moving. I actually feel I can brace properly and get everything set without my back having to round or move my feet. But although you might think my back is rounded here, it's just that I have quite prominent erectors, and I tend to lift with a rounded upper back too, because I've got quite a short torso, and this helps shorten the bar path to lock out. Then on to some Smith machine hack squats. I found the actual hack squat machine hurts my hip, but this is the only squat variation that doesn't hurt, so I'm able to actually get a bit of quad work in with very little hip pain. So we did a couple of sets of, I think, 12 to 15 reps. Again, keeping things light and making sure I'm feeling it where I want to feel it, so in the quads. Finishing off the lifting portion of my session with some reverse hypers, which I find is a great movement to help strengthen posterior chain, decompress my spine, and also get a bit of glute and hamstring working as well. then finish off the session with some bike intervals of 1 minute on and 1 minute off. And a little tip I picked up from my CrossFit days when using the bike is to think about pulling the pedals with your hamstrings rather than just pushing the pedals with your legs, which can just hammer the quads. Then it allows a bit of recovery for the legs. It's also useful to be able to switch between the two, as I found this helped me keep my legs fresher and power output on the bike fairly constant. Again, I've only been doing these intervals for the last 4 weeks, but currently feel myself getting a bit fitter. And also, I just love the quad pump it gives me, even though it kills me each time. And after this, I lay on the floor for a good 5 to 10 minutes just to recover and compose myself before driving. So as you probably just saw, that was a terrible day one, and goes to show why I shouldn't just jump straight back into a new program, which I never learned from. Anyway, it is what it is. Home now for some food, then off into town for some clothes shopping for Vegas, and then off to physio. Just got finished with day 2 of PhD, which is just an upper body bodybuilding kind of session. But I thought I'd say what the physio told me last night. The hip is actually getting better, which is good. I can actually add load to movements now, so like an RDL, split squats, some very light bodyweight squats to just above range. I've been given 4 movements to try and, well, that will help hopefully make it better over the next 2 weeks, month. The next time I see him. Also, excuse the mess of the car, hasn't been cleaned yet. I just thought I'd talk about injuries a bit more. Like, I never see injuries as setbacks, just almost little side steps, and that it gives you time to actually work on something else, something might not be good at. For example, when I did my shoulder, all I could do was lower body, couldn't train upper body for 2-3 months. So during that time, and time I was doing CrossFit, so it gave me a chance to actually get my legs strong and conditioned. So I did a lot of intervals, a lot of leg work. And then when I got back into CrossFit, I was a lot fitter for full WODs. That had obviously conditioning work and leg work as well. Same thing when I've recently done my hip. I'm not able to do any squat movement at all. I've only been able to bench and deadlift, and deadlift is my weakness, so it's forced me to focus on that. I'll obviously switch back to conventional, which some people say is the proper way of deadlifting, but we'll agree to disagree. Hopefully I'll be able to get back to sumo. But yeah, I never see injuries as a setback. Just make a shift focus onto your weaknesses. That could sit and mope around and do very little until I'm fully fit, or I can work around it so that when I can fully squat, I'm a lot stronger in everything else. And hopefully just deadlifting has helped me maintain strength in my squat, but time will tell. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap up this vlog here. I'm actually finally going to go suit shopping, which I should have done yesterday but didn't. So yeah, catch you in the next one. Peace.